I don't feel like reading. You guys can read. You typed in our thing. You figured out how to read and get to this part. Full on adult.
I mean, on paper, yeah.
Yeah. I pay taxes. I'm over 18. I can be drafted and I can rent a car.
I mean, I think you're probably honestly too old for like a regular draft. I mean, if something crazy went down.
Yeah, I actually don't know if I'm actually even viable to be drafted anymore. I might be too old.
Oh, what I know is for sure is we can never be fighter jet pilots because we wear glasses.
Yeah.
And I'm also way too tall.
I'm too fat, probably.
Okay, I wasn't gonna make myself feel shitty.
So, but yeah, I moved, and it just the entire freaking thing of, you know, moving, unpacking, finding all this stuff for like my recording equipment, and it's not much recording equipment. It's one bag in my laptop. Just got too busy, and I was too tired to even like be bothered to do anything, but not anymore. And that's why we're back playing this video game, because it's really easy to make content to watching these robot people kind of yell at each other about going down and figuring out what's going on with all the Necrons. Which is really the overarching plot of this entire freaking game. Like, we're trying to find secret technologies that just happen to be on a Tomb World.
Also, I still love the way this map just moves.
So, okay, so I wanted to talk to you about the thing that was happening at work. So, my little warehouse is incredibly little, that, like, weirdly, if you do any sort of, like every once in a while they're like, hey, how's our IT department doing? And they ask like, what division are you in? And what station are you at? And it does the drop down menu, and my warehouse is not listed. It lists a different location in our state, but it doesn't list mine. So we're like super small. There's only 2 of us there, and and there's like nothing to, we just seem to, we don't make enough noise to be noticed, even enough to be put on a drop down menu for weird surveys. But for some reason, some vice president of the company that I work for wants to come and visit our station to basically find out like what the crud we do all the way over, that he like no one's ever really knows like what we do, I guess. So this makes me super nervous, because it makes me, worst case scenario I go to is they'll close down my warehouse and they'll move it, and they'll absorb mine into another one that's in our state, and I'll be out of a job because it's like, oh god, I think the next closest warehouse for my company is like an hour from here.
And this is already not that close to your place.
Yeah, it's already about 45 minutes. So it's actually like up and past like Seattle. So it's like it's up further north.
Yeah, for what you get paid, that trip's not really worth it.
Yeah, it's not going to be worth it. But luckily what I found out today was my building, they still have a lease on my building for another 3 years. So, you know, they can't break that lease. Yeah, that was kind of terrifying. There was like, oh crud, what does this guy want? And it's some VP of some department, probably some new vice president that wants to make his mark and save the company some form of money. And my initial thought is like, you know what would save the company money? Not flying here, because there's a real good chance that that this guy is in the UK. Like, he might actually be in Europe, and that's a long freaking flight. So it's just ugh. And I just don't want to, so I had to like make sure the warehouse, and I don't know when this guy's showing up, like at all. So we have to like have the warehouse kind of put together and kind of looking clean and all this stuff, and it's just stressful. I don't want to be all stressed out. It's annoying. It's just like one extra thing. It's like, man, just let me quietly ship my stuff and just leave me be. Just leave me be.
Just want an easy life.
Because that's the whole point. Like, the reason why most people don't know that we're there, and I've only been working there for like almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years this coming February. We just get the job done, and we're incredibly quiet. You know, we don't make a lot of noise. We don't make a lot of mistakes. So, you know, there's not a lot of reason for you to know we're there. The only annoying thing is because of the global shipping issues that are going on. My warehouse is like super empty. Like, there's not much stuff in there, and it worries me that he's gonna show up and be like, hey, this place is completely empty. That's kind of a waste. You know, maybe we should actually absorb you into a different warehouse because this place is empty. It's like, no, man, it's because of all of this. I haven't gotten a freight shipment in over a year. You know, the whole ports and all that jazz. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
You know, it worries me because it's like, oh, this is just the best paying job I've ever had, and you know, I don't want to lose it as soon as I get the freaking job. That would suck.
Yeah, that would.
It would make me very sad. Very sad indeed. Both of us. It's just fine. It's just very funny because my fiance has a bunch of work stuff of her own. You have work gossip. Your fiance has work gossip, and I'm just sitting there like, I love my job. I've had no issues at my job this entire time, and all you guys have the hot goss, and I've got nothing. I feel special that I finally have something to talk about. It's stupid too. It's so dumb. Because my job is so cush right now. I have the cushest job of any of you. Because I can just sit there and literally read a book all day if I wanted to, or watch Hoarders on my phone on Amazon Prime. Not a plug. We're not sponsored by Amazon.
Yet.
Yeah,
ever.
It'd be really stupidly funny if we were, but like it would be hilarious if we were sponsored by Amazon. That'd be so stupid. Oh yeah, the super fun thing. If you all couldn't read past Jonathan's hammering through, which is no big deal, like Necrons like straight up disappear when they die. They just get like teleported back up to the ship, so they're like nearly impossible to they're incredibly hard to do any sort of scientific research on because we can't get a hold of their corpses.
Yeah,
which like is not help. It makes it very difficult and very annoying. It's really shitty of these stupid robots to do this kind of crap to me.
I know, right? Like the nerve, just trying to do the Emperor's good work. Well, the Omnissiah's great work. It's all the same deity, really.
Basically, yeah, it's all the same. All the same, dude.
At least that's what we tell those damn preachers.
Yeah, it's just okay. Now I can talk to you about this. Okay, so I was on TikTok. You can follow me on TikTok, binary_sage, and on Twitter. And there's a guy that was basically talking about Star Trek and like, you know, the generic thing we nerds do, which is, you know, who would win in a fight, blah or blah kind of thing. And he was talking about Starfleet versus just who would win Starfleet against whoever. And someone was talking about the Warhammer, like the Imperium of Man. And he said like, oh, well, they would win. So continue on, because I had to pause my thought while we were leveling up, because we don't want to show you guys that, because that would be boring. So this guy's basically talking about how Starfleet would basically destroy the Imperium of Man, as they would basically beam onto their ship, scan their technology, which if you can't tell from this image, the technology for the Warhammer 40k universe is like ridiculous. But basically he just kept saying that it would be nothing for Starfleet. They would just instantly, you know, beat, you know, an Imperium Man ship. My
one comment is the scale of Starfleet versus the scale of even a small sector of the Imperium.
Yeah, and he had rules and stuff of like, it's a single one of this craft. I'm like, yeah, but like a standard sized, like what these guys are in, the ship that these guys are in is huge. It's the size of a continent. Like, it's a massive ship. And not to mention that, like, let's say the engineering team somehow, you know, beams onto an Imperium Man ship. Like, even if it was like just a normal Imperium ship and it didn't have Space Marines literally on it, it's like, really? You mean you're just gonna go throw some dudes that have phasers at it or something? Like, they'd scan it and instantly be able to disable it or some such nonsense. I kind of gave him that, like, okay, maybe at a distance of this stuff, but then people were saying other stuff, like, hey, what about these guys, and what about these guys, and one of those things, if he was doing it basically to piss people off, and it was working for me, it was frustrating, because I'm like, god damn it, like, you're trolling me, and I know that's what your whole plan is. And I think, because people were saying things like the orcs, how would you deal with the orcs? And every time one of them was such a matter of fact, like, oh, it's that, I'm like, no, man, like, it's not that cut and dry. Like, I think it was when I don't know how in depth his knowledge of like the lore of 40K and stuff was, but he was definitely a way huge Star Trek nerd. But it was just like frustrating. It was like, no, like there's until at one point I think they brought up like demons. This is the one that I thought was BS. How would they deal with demons? The demons of 40K. And he basically went, they wouldn't have to fight them. The entire point of the Starfleet is that demons in 40K are created by the bad feelings and avarice and lust of humanity, and that's what makes demons, which is true. Starfleet is nose up in the air, better than that. There is none of those feelings to make demons. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. Fuck off with that. It's not just the humans that do that. The elves are the Eldari are literally the ones that made oh gosh, one of the chaos gods. Like, they birthed the chaos god through their lust. It's like, oh, the Starfleet's so wonderful and fantastic, then why are they constantly at war with the Vulcans and the Klingons and all of this other shit? Like, that was the one that bugged me the most. It's like, okay, like, please. Starfleet isn't this shining universe that's super perfect. It's like, and I think they brought up like Tyranids. And they was like, oh, they would stay at a distance and just pepper away at them and stop them from using their flying technology so they can move slowly, even though Tyranids are made out of pure biomass and don't actually have real engines. And they weren't just talking about like a single ship, they were talking like full-scale 40K war, like not one ship versus one ship, like no, the entire hive mind of the Tyranids against all of Starfleet.
You could say against the whole fucking like Alpha Quadrant. It wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, it's just so dumb. It was just like the stupidest thing. It's like, because it was like super weird that it was one of those like, no, like that's not really, except I guess somebody brought up an idea of technically his entire argument is moot because the Imperium of Man, and for that matter, basically anyone in the 40K universe hasn't discovered the alpha particle and don't have actual warp speed travel. So by the Prime Directive, they actually can't interact with them. And it went, I guess that's technically true because the Imperium Man rips literal holes into hell and then flies through it and then rips another hole back into the material world.
I feel like those Star Trek people would realize pretty quickly that they're a spacefaring species of incredible spread, and it would be like, well, it's not the technology we're used to, but...
It's like, look, I got the correct answer, I just got there a different way. Like, my... I showed my work, and my work was incomplete, but I still got the right answer. Granted, you can't get lost in hell and be gone for literally decades of time. Oh, but yeah, it was stuff like that. It was just like, oh my god, like, no, like, what are you talking about? Like, and other people were saying things like, what about the Necrons, which are, you know, because the weird thing is what I don't think some people know is, like, even though it's Warhammer 40,000, you know, in the beginning of the Great Horus Heresy started in the year 30,000, so it's been 10,000 years since the Horus Heresy. It's been millions of years that some of these races have existed. The Necrons have been around for millions of years, and so the Eldari, like
the Horus Heresy was like yesterday to those guys.
Yeah, the Eldari were created by basically this ancient civilization that are so old they were there at the Big Bang or some, we don't even know what they look like. And they made them to fight something called the War of Heaven, which I think was against the Necrons or against the weird gods that like imprison the Necrons into something. Like,
the Necrons were actually made by a different group, I believe.
Yeah, they had frail bodies, and they went to those crazy god type things to see that, and they cursed them into like, oh, here's the way you do it, and that actually tricked them to be trapped in their bodies or these new robot forms and stuff. And man, like the timeline for fucking 40K is ridiculously long. There is a ton of stuff. I mean, I was like, what the hell? Like, no, that's just not true.
Oh,
that was a rough shot.
Okay, might have played this wrong.
Yeah, what sucks is if you lose this one, like, the time still goes by. Oh, and he got to just go again. That's fun. That guy's dead.
What? You don't know that.
That dude is dead.
And get out of the line of fire.
Oh, I think your skull thing was actually up, that you could have actually used it on that character.
Oh, you're probably right. Okay. The things we miss. Ah, he gets to go again.
Yeah, that dude's probably, yup, he's gone.
Good night, sweet prince. Thankfully, we're playing on easy mode, so he'll be right back up at the ship.
Yeah, I guess that is true. Yeah, punch him. Oh, there we go.
I'll punch him again next turn.
Nice. That was helpful.
Overkilled.
Ugh. Hit him so hard, it just completely killed him. Granted, he might die.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, even if you shot the big thing, you weren't going to do 14 damage to it.
See, it takes 2. Ooh, actually, I can do this.
He might back off of you.
Which would be...
because you can still hit him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Okay.
It's not going to one-shot him or anything. You're
Hail Marrying him now. Unless you criticaled him. And that would be bonkers.
If he backs off, I get a free hit.
Oh,
yeah, that's everything.
That's everything, yeah.
And these guys can just soak hits.
Oh, but these scarabs come up and freaking heal him. At least just for 2. Oh, if you do 9. Oh, that's some BS.
That's it. Game over.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is our first lost mission, too. Yup. Is when we lose all of our tech priests. That is sad panda. Sad panda.
Well.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes, they're good at combat.
Yup. Oh, and of course all the timers and crap still keep going. Even if we lose one. Like it's still a fuck up. Like you still. This is why the missions that give you guys, yeah, we don't even gain any. We don't gain anything.
It doesn't take away, at least, because we couldn't have lost that.
True,
much.
yeah, we can't. We don't lose the Blackstone we already have, but you know, anything from what we killed, we don't even gain because we lost guys.
Yeah, so that's a different mission.
Yep, the different mission, and it's
normal. Let's go into the.
Let's go do the easy one. Let's go do the baby one, because that's the hard part. Is it's assuming like we're still leveling and stuff. Gosh, we got our asses kicked in that one.